Hello everybody, welcome back to Full Court Press. Today we're going to be going through the quarterfinals and semifinals of the rec ball playoffs that happened this past weekend. So without further ado, we're going to go over Team Townsend versus Team Calderon. I believe this was one of the first games of the week this past Sunday, 10:15. We're going to have Aiden Warner dropping a common 24, which almost outscored all of Team Calderon. Matt had a nice bounce back game from their first playoff game. He had 17. Logan and Seabass both followed with 6 themselves. And Caleb Paul, who's turned into a really good, consistent shooter from outside, dropped 11. Anything else you guys want to add into that?
Yeah, I mean, I was just going to say, it was good to see Calderon get to this spot. We weren't expecting him to go far anyway. It didn't get killed in this game, so, I mean, it's good that they fought through it. Shout out to Team Townsend, made it to the semifinals.
Yep. I was watching some of this game to scout against Team Townsend for our game last night. And, Aiden dominated driving, as he usually does. And I noticed that Logan, his 6 points were 2 threes he made in the first quarter, and then he went quiet for the rest of the game. So that could have been part of the reason that Calderon lost.
I will say there was a lot of injuries in this game. Somebody said that Rahim, obviously this is all by accident, injured 2 of their players, including Caleb hurt his knee, and Cooper hurt his foot, and it actually took him out for the game yesterday, but we can get to that later.
Caleb, I think it was his ankle because he was wearing an ankle brace yesterday.
Yeah, he said his knee, but it could have been his ankle. It's just like, really just shout out to Team Calderon. Nobody even thought they'd win a game, and it was a close game. They did their part. They just
I think it was a 4-point game at one point.
Yeah, it was close.
It was definitely close.
Yeah.
So.
Moving on to the next game, we have Team West taking a nail biter from Team Nagy, 57-54. Cooper Hagan, first half hero, had 16, went quiet like Logan Munch for the rest of the game. Brendo had 10, probably 10 missed layups, but probably 1,000 rebounds, and Colin had a timely 9. Team Nagy was led by Ryan Bentley, which is something you don't really expect to see in a playoff game, with 11, and Ryan and Connor both had 9. Colin, obviously you played in that game. I want a little insight from you.
Yeah, well, obviously you mentioned Brendan with 10 missed layups. If he had 10, that means I probably had around 15. And I will admit that 3 of those were with 1 minute left up by 5. So I need to work on my clock management skills and basketball awareness overall. But I talked to Coach Theo Henderson after, and he walked me through what I did wrong, so shout out to him. You see Ryan Bentley leading in scoring. That's because Adam Steinberg fouled out pretty early in the fourth quarter, and Connor Nagy got a technical foul in the first that kept him out for a good amount of the game. So some may say that's the reason we won, but we were up by 18 points at one point, and we just blew the lead.
Yeah.
So.
It's just a great game to watch. I mean, like you said, you were up by 18, and the Team Nagy did come back. But, I mean, I think not having Connor in there after getting teed up, that's going to hurt you. But you guys played a great game, so it's just a really fun game to watch.
No one saw it coming. We pulled it off.
Yeah, I mean, you saw it coming. I guess that was
I think,
about it. Yeah, good call from you.
All of us, during our predictions other than you, Colin, we were all like, oh, there's no chance. And now we all kind of had to eat our words.
Yeah, shout out to Colin for that. I will say, while I was watching this, Connor Nagy, we all thought he had a game-tying 3 with about, maybe 10, 15 seconds left. His foot was on the line, and that's all you needed.
I looked back at the replay. His foot was on the line.
Yeah, okay. Just from our angle, we couldn't tell. And also, Brendan McDermott, every time he scored a layup, would start flexing and come over to the crowd and high-five everybody, which was very fun. So that was a great time. Moving on to the 11:30 games. Unfortunately, we had Team Henderson beat Team Belinsky 45-38. It was actually closer than I thought. I thought we got blown out. Didn't really ever feel close. Jay led the scoring with 15. He also boxed Jacob for the whole entire game. Brady had 13, and then Jake Burke had their whole big 3. All scored double digits. Jake had 10. For Team Belinsky, I led the scoring with 14. Jacob close behind with 13, and then after that, Vincent with 6, and then not much after that.
Yeah, the box and 1 on your team is just ruthless.
Yeah.
That's really going to hurt you. It's the same thing we did to Team Rataco in the first round of the playoffs. When you have a team that's reliant on one player to score a lot and you box and 1 them, it's just really tough to win. But shout out to you for dropping 14.
Yeah,
that's a big performance.
Is that career high?
No, it's not career high.
Dang.
Yeah. But it was kind of not a great 14, because obviously I would have liked the 14 to be a win. But just shout out to Jay, who's just like grimy. Like he was just on Jacob the whole entire time. Jacob was getting really frustrated, and that's probably exactly what Team Henderson wanted, because he like kind of took himself mentally out of the game. But if in Jacob's position, when you're used to having your way, and when you can't, it's tough.
I think like one of the craziest things to think about with Team Henderson is that they can keep their same. It's probably going to be Team Henderson McCullough next year. They can keep their 2 best players and like run it back next year because they're all juniors, which is just
100%.
wild.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Jake probably will be like a 1st or 2nd round pick definitely next year. But
I think along with that, Sean Levesque, I think he's pretty tall and lengthy. If he gets another couple inches when he's a junior, I think he could be a big defensive force along with Brady.
is he a sophomore right now?
He's a sophomore.
Oh, wow.
Sean's very good.
He
I was
is
watching
good.
their games.
Yeah.
I was watching their game. We can get to their game last night in a little bit.
He kind of has the Charlie Snow build. Tall, long arms.
Very skinny.
And he's a really solid 3-point shooter. I did not know that coming into the game. And he kind of made us pay because we kind of let him have it.
It's kind of the meta rec ball build, the Charlie Snow, the Connor Nagy. We see just the long and lanky.
Tawny,
Jackson
all
Berry.
Skinny. Yeah, Jackson
Aiden
Berry.
Warner. You think of like rec ball's finest players. They all got similar builds.
They do.
Yeah.
That's very.
We have one more game from this Sunday. Collins Shoe beat out Lombardo 60-53. Also a pretty close game. I think Collins pulled it out at the end. I think Eli had some clutch, timely threes. Eli and Surya led the scoring, 16 apiece. Keishu with 12, and then for Team Lombardo, Bossum and Michael both had 13, and Tommy only had 10. It's like kind of a low-scoring game from Lombardo. In the playoffs, everybody is like really focusing on defense, which I guess makes sense for why they didn't score as much as they normally do.
Mm-hmm.
It was a close game, and then Collins Shoe kind of just pulled it out. I want to give a shout out to one of our viewers today, actually, Dana. Big supporter of Team Lombardo this year, so I want to shout her out. But unfortunately, Team Lombardo lost this game. Collins Shoe, good balanced scoring here. I mean, Eli and Surya, but
Yeah. Surya is so slept on in this league. We'll get to our all-star snubs at the end of this episode, so stay tuned for that. But Surya is most definitely on there. If I could think of an NBA comparison, it would be Randy Moss, the way he just like grabs rebounds. In Collins,
Wait a minute.
this is going. Yeah, he's in the NBA. Randy Moss
Oh, for
played
sure.
for the Pelicans back in the day.
Big play.
Back in the day, played for the Pelicans.
Yeah,
Over
but
yonder.
I've never seen someone give so much effort for rebounds and be successful like 95% of the time. Surya is like probably the best rebounder in the league. Just going off raw skill.
Yeah.
As a member of Team Lombardo, this game was tough because at the end of the first, we were up by 1. I think at halftime, we were up by a couple. End of the third, I think we were up 3 or 4. And then...
Just couldn't hold on in the end.
No, it was Eli with about 5 minutes left. I think he went 3 for 4 shooting threes. And I'm like, oh, that hurts a little.
That's killer.
And then we had a little comeback at the end. We were down like 11. We got it down to 7 with a couple of threes. But too little, too late.
Yeah, it is what it is, you know.
Whatever. Career over. But
Yeah, congrats on a great career, Benjamin.
Yep.
All right, moving on to the next game.
all-star snub for sure.
we'll get to that later.
Moving on to last night's game, we had Team Henderson versus Team Collins. Very, very low scoring. Henderson had 35, Collins had 32. Close game as always. There's a lot of threes from Team Collins that almost went in at the end.
Yeah.
Was really exciting. Jay had 21 out of the 35. I don't know, somebody do the math, but that's a large percentage.
There was 14 points scored other than that.
Yeah.
Gray had 5, so that's 9 points left. Jake, Sean, and Brady each had 3, so that's 0 points. So that means they had 5 guys score.
Yeah, and Brady only had 3, but I will say he does more than score, and that's like
he had like at least 16 rebounds.
Yeah.
His
I
dad
think
was
more.
doing the rebound
Yeah.
count during
Yeah.
the game.
He was killing it on the
Brady
board.
also had a couple timely steals, which was huge.
yeah he like I know people say like it's all points, but for some players like Brady in this game, it's just not all points.
Yeah, it's the rebounds, and Brady was killing it on the rebounds last night. I noticed I was watching this game. Collins Shoe was actually up by 4 with I think 2 minutes left.
Yeah.
They didn't score in the last 2 minutes. It was like 32-28
Yeah.
or something like that.
Just huge threes from Jay McCullough down the stretch.
One of those just
Ended up
was
with
like,
4 threes.
Yeah.
The over-under was 3.5.
At one point, the ref came over to the student section and he asked, "Why is everyone cheering for Henderson right now?" And I don't know. It was just something in that gym. Like Jay was going off. You just wanted them to win.
Yeah.
It was the whole gym in their court. Tough game for Collins Shoe, but a really fun one to watch.
One thing, this was the first time I think I fully watched a Henderson game just because we never played them, and a lot of the games we had just coexisted like timing with them. I never realized Gray Sassetti has a nice beard going. Dude is I didn't realize it until he stepped on the court. He looks like a caveman, very intimidating. I would be scared to play against Team Henderson solely for him, other than Jay and Brady's athleticism.
Dominance, yeah.
Just
I will say, building off of what Colin said, about how the ref was asking us why we're all Team Henderson. When you're an impartial fan, going into it, it can be fun because you really don't know who you're gonna root for, and then as soon as that ball tips off, you can you're like, okay, I'm a Team Henderson fan.
Yeah.
It really does work like that. You're just randomly you find yourself rooting for one team, and then you figure it out who you're rooting for.
Depends on the gym atmosphere too.
Yeah, it really does. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, so congrats to Team Henderson for making it to the finals. We'll definitely be looking forward to seeing them on Thursday night. And they will be meeting Team Townsend.
Shout out to Team Collins, too, for a great season.
Yeah,
definitely a great season.
Yeah, Team Collins, of course. Rohan actually said he was very disappointed that they did not make it to the finals. And he compared it almost to his season with the high school team.
Tough.
He said it was that sad that it was it hurt almost as much as school ball, which is crazy because wreck. Townsend beat Team West 44-33. Just really
Pain.
Yeah, painful game physically for you.
Yep.
You were all over the place.
I got a big bruiser there.
How are your ribs? I know you basically dove into the crowd.
My whole body is sore. I took 3 Advil this morning.
Yeah.
Dang.
But that's just all. It's what you got to put your body out on the line when facing elimination.
You really do. So for Team Townsend, Aiden scored half of their points, 22 of the 44. Tim Breen had a really nice, efficient 13. And then for Team West, Colin and Brendan combined for 21. Colin had 12, Brendan had 9. And it just really wasn't like an offensive night for Team West. They weren't hitting shots that they normally did. Their three-point shooters like Luis and Mikey and Andy weren't hitting the normal shots. And sometimes when you have a sophomore team, that is what happens. I'm not gonna say it was pressure because it's really not that deep, but that could have been part of it.
It's pretty deep when you have 50
you
plus
do
fans in the student section.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys, they have another 2 years. Is Luis a sophomore or freshman?
Sophomore.
Lewis is a sophomore.
Sophomore.
My bad.
Okay, yeah. All 3 of those guys will be all-stars when they're seniors. I don't think that's a question.
Yeah, I can see that for sure.
I know Kobe Bryant, his first playoff game, there's a video of him airballing a shot with 5 seconds left. Maybe not to the same
Who was the Kobe comparison?
Which one's the Kobe?
Just all of the sophomores in general.
Yeah.
Lights can be a little too bright sometimes,
Yeah.
boys. Happens to the best of us.
Fair assessment.
I lost in the semis my sophomore year. Don't go down my career path. My career high is 12 my sophomore year, so beat that. But
I really don't want to say anyone was rattled in our you guys are kind of painting the narrative that all the sophomores were scared, but I know they weren't because
I didn't get that vibe from you.
Andy hit a nice layup and hit the celly that he always hits.
Mikey did not look like he was nervous
I
at
think
all.
they were scared.
I don't think anyone was nervous.
Yeah.
I think that this was just a day where we always have at least one of those guys that's on, and just all of us had an off day, and that happens sometimes.
Yeah.
And got to give it to Team Townsend. I think they played the better team that day. So
Yeah, their defense, they started off as a man defense, and then as soon as they transformed that 2-3 zone, they've been really hard to beat.
Nigel had a couple big steals. He was up front on the 2-3. He had a couple big steals.
Yeah, Nigel definitely had a defensive impact this game. His impact isn't on the offensive side of the ball, which is okay. It's not everybody's game, but he definitely was had some impact on D.
he almost tore my labrum too when I went up for a layup at the end of one of the
Oh
quarters.
yeah, I did see that.
He almost had a couple of reverse layups too.
Shoulder.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't do that again, Nigel.
Yeah. Well, he can't because I'm not playing anymore.
Don't.
I just meant to anybody.
Yeah, don't break anybody on Team Henderson before baseball, track, and lacrosse season
Yeah.
starts.
Yeah. Real quick, I see Tim Breen put a post in the Facebook chat saying Aiden Warner is solidifying his MVP race. Before we get into MVPs, that will be next week, and we'll tell you everybody who won. This is not including playoffs. MVP is a regular season award. You can have a maybe playoff MVP, but that's not the same thing as regular season MVP, which is how they do in the NBA, and it's basically the NBA here. So.
Yeah, Finals MVP you can have, but
Yeah.
I think,
that's how it works.
yeah, the awards are solely for regular season.
So sorry about that.
He
Tim.
played like an MVP in that game.
Yeah, that's for
Last
sure,
year was
but-
like
out of his
MVP.
mind.
Yeah.
All of his points were also on my head. So shout out to you, Aiden, for cooking.
If they win the finals, I could see him. If we do a finals MVP,
Yeah,
he could
for
definitely
sure
be
it could have
finals
been.
MVP.
If Townsend wins finals, I don't see a way in which he isn't finals MVP.
Yeah.
One thing I did notice, Griffin Townsend stepped up this game, especially maybe not offensively as much, but defensively. Within the last minute, he had, I think, 3 rebounds, which were pretty big. Been asking him to step up all season, and he did it when he had to. So
Yeah.
good
Yeah.
job, Griffin.
Yeah.
Shout out to him.
One last thing about this game, they were about to. It was close in the end. I don't know if the score sheet. Yeah, it didn't really say how close it was. It was closer than 44-33, like towards the end. Tim Breen had a wide open guy like cherry picking at the end, and he just threw it out of bounds.
Yeah.
Which like almost was the. I thought that would have been the momentum turn that like you guys would have gone on a crazy run and won it, just because that's like the type of thing that would spark that type of run. But luckily for Team Townsend, not for you guys, that did not happen. He said after the game that his hands were sweaty because he was nervous.
Well, my hands were sweaty too.
Yeah.
I can see where he's coming from.
Yeah. But I think that wraps up this portion of this week. But right now we want to go over the All-Star starters. I don't know if everybody was able to tune into that live Rec Ball annual draft that will be happening. It was our first one. But yeah, we had.
If you weren't, go check it out.
Yeah,
right now.
definitely go check it out. You can join Ben and watch it after this. But we had the Team Volinsky versus Team Tam draft. And Colin, you want to go over the starting lineup for both teams?
Yes, so for Team Belinsky, we have obviously Jacob Belinsky. He took Jake Rathaka with his first pick. And he has Connor Nagy, Brady Henderson, and Hayden Goulet on his team. So that's a very good team. Sean Tam went with more of a big man centered first 2 picks, picking Charlie Snow and Aiden Warner. Rounding out his team are Kevin Shue and Matt Mendez. So a very even all-star starting lineup.
Mm-hmm.
And as we saw with the reserves, it'll be even too. Big matchup I want to shout out is Brendan McDermott versus Jackson Bond.
Yeah, definitely looking
Got them
forward
on
to that.
separate teams. It's going to be awesome.
So beefy.
Yeah, super. And then, Ben, you want to lead this last portion of
Yeah.
the rec-
The snubs?
Yeah, please
Alright,
lead
boys.
the snubs.
This is
So-
a really good list. I'm really looking forward to hearing it.
Yeah. Brendan, we'll get to the superlatives list in a bit. So All-Star snubs. My list, number 1, I had Desmond O'Reilly, who wasn't in the original All-Star players.
Desmond O'Reilly is not an All-Star game snub because he is in
He's
the
on the
All-Star
All-Star
game.
game.
Yes, but he wasn't in the original draft of the pool of players, which was original, which I believe which was what we were going on, or which I was going on when we created the list. Elliot Seymour, defensively, dude's a beast. Hugh Burke, once again, defensively, solid. Vincent Zhang, great shooter. When he's on, he's probably the best shooter in the league, if not top 3. Guys, when he's hot, he's disgusting.
That's a take.
That's a take.
It's a hot take, but I think when he's hot, he's hot.
He's definitely a good shooter.
Yeah.
Ishan, I just wanted to get some more Team Lombardo McGinn on this. Ishan, you're the guy. Greg Steinberg, great athlete, good defensively. Michael Lombardo, I do think Lombardo could have been an All-Star.
Yeah,
Honest.
Lombardo's arguing against his own teammate that he should have made it over Tommy, but that should tell you all you need to say
Yeah,
about that.
yeah.
But
I'm not going to comment on person. This is solely based on if you're good at basketball. This has nothing to do with your personality. Mukil Nair, Muck. I just wanted to see Mukil in an All-Star game. I think that'd be fun. And then I put myself on the list because, frankly, I just wanted some accreditation. Would I get smacked in the All-Star game? Likely. Who knows?
we won't.
We won't know. So technically speaking, we can't prove me wrong.
So that's
And
fine.
then Surya, I believe also should be on this list.
And Ayush.
I straight up missed it. I put Ayush on it later because I assumed that he was in the All-Star draft. I said, my comment was, it has come to my attention that Ayush Chattopadhyay did not make the All-Star game. He deserves to be on this list. I thought he had made it. My apologies.
Also, just want to say Ayush did make the All-Star game.
Yes. He later, he was
Yeah.
in the post pool of selection players.
Ben, I think you said it well yourself. It's not about the type of person you are. It's about how good you are at basketball. I love you as a kid, but
I'm not a good basketball
I don't really
player.
think you deserve to make this list personally. Nothing against you. I just think there's a lot of other kids that are deserving of being all-star snubs. And
Probably.
Like a Grace Assetti, maybe.
Tracy Setti.
Yeah.
I don't know. Plead your case right now. Maybe I'm wrong.
My playoff game.
Convince us.
My playoff.
Yeah.
I know the playoffs we already established
Shark
don't count.
Tank.
This most recent game, per Mr. McGinn and my father, who was my basketball coach for years,
Shout out Elliot Grossman.
Shout out Elliot Grossman. Hardest
my
coach
best
I've ever
coach.
played for. You know, he was. He does not mince his words lightly or whatever. He said it was the best game he's ever seen me play, and I was like, oh, where? And I felt pretty good.
So how many points did you score in that game?
5 on 2 for 4 shooting. But I didn't take a lot of shots, and I stand by my.
Hey, it's 50%.
That is
Yeah.
indeed 50%.
I'm glad you got personal best, but I don't know if the best game you've ever played being 5 points is
Oh
necessarily
no, that's not the
deserving.
best. That was the best defensive game, not offensive.
Oh, that's what he said.
We'll see.
I think
We'll
Hey,
see.
you left that out
Overall,
of it.
hey, you know, I'm not an all-star, so my career, I believe, is over. Catch me at UMaine intramurals next fall.
Have to stream those games.
Anybody want to come to
definitely-
Orono,
definitely
Maine? I'd love to have a
streaming
student
this year.
section.
Yeah.
Definitely be streaming those.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, on that note,
Boys, next year I'd love for somebody else to make a snub list. Whoever it is, even if you're not good, put yourself on the snub list. It's absolutely worth it.
Definitely doesn't take all credit away from the snub list.
No, not in the slightest.
Not at all. Yeah.
Actually, as Brendan said in his superlatives, most snubbed, Ben G.
when
Was
you're
that
getting- when you-
satirical? Yes. However,
When you're getting props from Brendan McDermott, it is what it is.
yeah, I
I think Brendan asserted himself as a primary rec ball journalist with his 2 posts
Absolutely.
in the Facebook group.
Yeah.
For sure.
The superlatives and the player comparisons.
Yeah,
Shout out to
Rec
him.
Ball C.
I don't know who else is in the B3 committee. Do you guys know who
No
else?
clue.
I'm not
B-
sure who else.
I think it's B cubed, so I'm assuming
B.
there's 2 other B's, but I'm not really sure who it is.
Likely. Yeah, these were voted on by our Lord and Savior
Could be Bolinski.
Mukil Nair, but Mukil doesn't have a B in his name. Either way,
Who are we to speculate?
Brendan, some of these are just the funniest things I've read in a while,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I was very appreciative.
Go check that out if you haven't.
Yeah.
On the
I think
Westborough Rec Ball.
undoubtedly the most accurate one, Hemanth, Michael Jordan. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that just about wraps up this week. Definitely looking forward to next week. Quick announcement, about the All-Star game. As of right now, it is going to be Sunday at 12:45. So it would be when the later slot is of the rec ball games on Sunday. If you have work, call out. So yeah, definitely go to that.
This is bigger than work.
Yeah.
This is bigger than school. This is the biggest event of the year.
Yeah, definitely need to be there. Hope to see all you guys there, all these viewers there. But yeah.
Also, I wanted
please.
just before we all go, I just wanted to ask, who does everyone have in the championship? Let's put our takes out there. I have Henderson winning by 15. That's what
15.
That's all I'm gonna say.
I have Henderson by. What do you guys think the spread is for this game? I'd say
I don't
Going
know.
off seeds, I believe Henderson is the 2 seed, while Townsend is the 5
I
seed.
think so, yeah.
So
we've
4
seen
or
Townsend
5.
has played very well recently, so I'd say the spread's probably 9.5, 10.5.
They have played very well.
I think
however.
that this game is going to be closer than 15. I think it'll be a 7 or 8 point game.
I think if Team Henderson, especially Brady's playing like they did last night, then Team Henderson will get up by 15.
And Brady also scored 3 points
Yeah.
last night.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Having one of
if
his-
you get him more on the opposite,
Yeah.
if he plays the same defensive game he played,
Oh,
gets
if
the
Jack
rebound.
Bedar's hot, he took 5 layups to start the game. He went 0 for 5 on them. Jack, it's okay. As he told me last night, he has 99 hustle.
Yeah, 99 hustle. I
If you
don't
can get that
know,
up to
yeah.
a 40 rebound, then you guys are a lock for the win.
Don't disrespect Schmack Bedar. But I have I think this is gonna be like a defensive game. I don't know if any team is gonna get up by 15 just because of how good both of these defenses are, and which is like why they made it this far. I'll take like a 4-point game. I'll probably have Henderson pulling it out, maybe 6 points. But I'll say like 40 to 34.
I'll say Henderson wins.
Did I say 40?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll say Henderson wins 52-45.
I'm also thinking low scoring. I'll say 42 to 27.
Yeah,
Team
I
Henderson.
will. I'll say 38 to 25. That's my take.
All right, so you heard it here first. Everybody drop their predictions down below. I'm Brady Volan. Thank you guys again for another great week of Rec Ball. Looking forward to next week. On behalf of Full Court Press, signing out. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Full Court Press. Today we're going to be going through the quarterfinals and semifinals of the Rec Ball playoffs that happened this past weekend. So without further ado, we're going to go over Team Townsend versus Team Calderon. I believe this was one of the first games of the week this past Sunday, 10:15. We're going to have